Welcome to episode 68 of Tools in the Hall. If you missed last week's Tool Haul, episode 67, I want to start out by showing you something I'm really stoked about, and that is our first private label product, Coil Tools Orange Nitrile Disposable Gloves. These are the 8mm thick gloves with a diamond grip pattern. Perfect for everyday use if you're a mechanic, technician, working on stuff at home. They're nice and thick. You can get multiple uses out of them. And the best part about these is when you put them on, you don't tear the cuff when you pull. You can put a lot of force on that, not going to tear the cuff. Unlike the thinner, cheaper gloves, sometimes you pull those on, rip the cuff, throw them away, put on another pair, and you start burning through money because you just threw it away on cheap, thin, inexpensive gloves that wind up costing you more in the long run, because some guys use 2 or 3 times the thin stuff if their shop provides them and they don't buy them themselves. That's why a lot of guys who purchase these from me have shops that buy them gloves, but they don't like the gloves the shop buys. So the shop's wasting even more money because guys aren't even getting the use out of the gloves that they should. So I'm happy to be private labeling something, throws all our weight behind the quality of a product. I can afford to sell these for much less than you'll find in other retail outlets. And we're selling them online now too. You can go to my website, coiltools.com/shop, and purchase a case quantity of gloves. Shipping's free. That's why we don't sell individual boxes, because it's too expensive to ship a box just like this. We'll ship you a case. You get 10 of these boxes. Each box contains 100 gloves. So buy a case of 1,000 gloves at coiltools.com/shop, or you can send me an email at sales@coiltools.com. All right. We are restocking the truck right now because when we finished up the tail end of 2023, we got the inventory as low as we could get it. That minimizes the inventory tax that we have to pay. So now that it's the beginning of the following year, it's time to restock. And this is the second wave of restock orders that we've had coming in. I showed you the first wave last week, and there is still more to come because we have at least another 2 or 3 orders that are going to be on the way in the next few weeks. I stagger how we purchase our tools to coincide with the billing cycles of our suppliers. That way we're not stuck with a huge bill that we have to pay down all at once. We can spread it out a little bit and be a little smarter with our money. So, first things first. Let's start with showing you the Ktool Damage Torx Screw Extractor set. This is the 11-piece set. It has extractor bits in there that will remove damaged Torx screws. They also have a set of this for damaged Allen head screws. It's like $35 for the set. Inexpensive, great tool to keep in your toolbox for the few times you're going to need it. Man, they'll get you out of a bind in a hurry, and it beats trying to use other methods that may not work nearly as well, though there are alternatives you can try, like screw extractor removal pliers, for example. They're specially made pliers that will grab the head of a damaged screw. There's these. You can try drilling it out and using a spiral or straight extractor. There's a lot of different methods, and some methods work better than others, depending on what's causing your screw or bolt to be stuck. So that's just one of a number of methods you can use, and it's great to have that in your arsenal of tools for removing stuck screws and bolts. When I handed out my flyer for the first quarter of the year, a customer saw that I have a new knife that I was not aware that I have. And he saw them somewhere else, and he said, "Oh, you got to carry these. Are great knives. Get a couple on the truck," he said, "and I bet you're going to be surprised how interested people are in them." So I said, "Sure." This is the Almar knives. Apparently it's the Warrior's Edge. I don't know. The knife itself is pretty cool, and I got to admit, I am happy that I got this because I didn't know what to think, but it's just, got the warning label on it there. It's beautiful. Ported handle. Slender, elegant design. It's got flippers on it, so you flip to open, and the knife is this really cool, slender. It looks kind of like a dagger blade, but it's not. This edge is tapered, but that's not a blade on that edge. Just this leading edge here has the blade. Elegant, sleek, wonderful, light, great design with a pocket clip that's hidden underneath the warning tag there. It's a liner lock style, so you just slide the liner out of the way to close the knife blade. And there you go. I don't know how much it costs. I got to look it up, but it's not terribly expensive. And I think they were being marketed under the Sonx brand, if I'm not mistaken. So it's cool to see Sonx getting into these kinds of things. Everybody loves knives, and that's going to be a great addition to the inventory. I have a feeling that my customer nailed it when he told me that guys are going to snap these up left and right. Because they're not expensive, and for the money, getting a quality piece of cutlery like that is well worth it. Next, we have a 14-piece crow's foot set from V8 Tools. This is a very popular set because it's not very expensive at all, and technicians that work on larger vehicles and hydraulic fittings find this to be invaluable. It goes from 1 1/16 inches to 2 inches. It lays wonderfully flat in your toolbox or cart drawer. All the sizes that you need for your everyday hydraulic fittings are in there. And there's folks who've bought this from me that have a couple of specific applications for them. And when they went to price out what crow's feet would cost buying them from other tool trucks like Snap-on and Macco and those guys, they found that for the price of this entire set, it's worth it to buy the set and get the extra sizes, because the other tool trucks are kind of pricey when it comes to this stuff, when they're selling the stuff under their own brand. V8 Tools is a very nicely priced brand, and I see nothing but good quality from them. They've got these crow's feet. They make a really nice set of flat wrenches, and they also have a great set of service wrenches. Those are the open-ended wrenches with a short, rounded handle on them, and you'll only use those for a certain specific application. So the good thing is you're not going to spend a ton of money on a tool you're going to use infrequently, and they have these specialty tools that will get you out of a jam that are perfect for the few times that that kind of job crops up. You'll have exactly what you need, and you won't break the bank. A lot of tool trucks have moved to the Blundstone brand of work boots. These are the slip-on boots with the elastic panel and the aggressive oil-resistant sole. I do like the way these are constructed. When you compare these to the redback boots that no one can seem to get anymore, this is an excellent, excellent alternative. Pricing's about the same for what the redbacks were going for, but these are on sale right now on my flyer, so you can even save yourself a few bucks. Love the sole on these. They have steel and soft toe options available. They come some with some brown panel accents. Some have black and some have the brown leather. And they're just so well built, very comfortable, good support all day long. This is the safety toe option that's going to a technician who specifically requested them. I carry the soft toe ones on the truck normally, but his shop requires them to have steel toe or safety toe, so those are going to him. The Gearwrench 90-tooth wrenches are a terrific design. Very good price point on these. This is their 16-piece metric set that runs 8 to 25 millimeter. I love the fact that they cover so many sizes in that set. They have a ratcheting box end on one end and an open end on the other, thus the combination wrench. Comes with a plastic wrench holder, and for the money, they're kind of tough to beat. It's about $260 for the entire set. On the tool truck, you can buy Gearwrench stuff elsewhere for less money, but beware when you buy from a place like Amazon, for example, after sale support is non-existent. Sometimes unscrupulous online retailers will pull the bait and switch and they'll send you something you didn't order. So just be careful when you shop online. Try to know who you're buying from. I always recommend going with a trusted retailer, especially if they're, a little guy like myself. Support them and keep the business local when you can. Everyone does appreciate that. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more, but you should be getting top-notch service for the extra money that you spend with a local retailer who values that relationship with you. If you're not getting the service you need from the tool guys that you're currently dealing with, find somebody else. There's plenty of places you can go to buy your tools, or plenty of people who will come to you to sell you tools. Just be careful when you go online. Amazon's isn't always what it's cracked up to be, because you don't necessarily know who's actually selling on an Amazon marketplace. It's not always sold by Amazon. Sometimes it's a third party that sets up a marketplace on Amazon's website, and then they sell directly to you using Amazon as an intermediary. So be cautious. Sometimes you just gotta have to try it. You risk getting burned with a bad deal, but Amazon usually stands behind that kind of thing. So just know that there's a small risk there. I always recommend sticking with a retailer who's trustworthy and who works with your best interests at heart. This is a popular blowgun with a 3 rubber nozzle kit from Titan. I sell this instead of just selling the air gun because for just about the same price as the air gun, you get these 3 rubber tips with it. For some reason, if you wanted to buy these 3 rubber tips by themselves, you're going to wind up spending about $20 more just for 3 tips than you would buying the whole kit that contains the tips with the gun. So it's just a standard threaded fitting that goes in there for your air hose, and save yourself the money and get a little bit more when you go with the Titan blowgun kit. This is a hose cutter from OTC. This is their straight design. There are other styles available, but this one is equally popular as the larger one from SG Tool that you see me show you in the past with the pointed triangular blade. That one is all plastic, costs about half as much as the SG Tool one does, and that one will cut up to 1.5 inch diameter hose. We're restocking on some diagonal cutters from Irwin. These are the smaller 6-inch set. They do have a couple of sizes larger than this. I believe they have an 8 and a 9. We've got some 90-tooth Gearwrench ratchets. This is the quarter drive ratchet with a comfort grip handle. Their 90-tooth ratchets have shown to be very reliable. I don't know that I have yet to replace a broken mechanism under warranty. I'm trying to think, and I don't recall ever doing it. I sell lots of these, lots of their 120 XPs, and there's an awful lot of their old 84-tooth ones still in service. And I see those fairly regularly to do warranty repairs on because the guts go bad or sometimes a tooth breaks off the gear inside or whatever it is. And they're easy enough to do, and I stock repair kits on the truck so I can just do it while my customer waits. But I've never done one for a 90-tooth for some reason. I don't know if there's something inherently better, stronger, more reliable with the design, but these are very reliable. They won't let you down, and they feel really smooth. It's tough to tell the difference between the 90-tooth and the 120-tooth. Maybe you could side by side, but people really like the 90-tooth because it's smooth, it's reliable, and it turns into people's go-tos. A way to tell what your favorite ratchet is the one that you find yourself reaching for all the time subconsciously. And those are the ones that you want to treat right. And when you find one that works well for you, go all in, because different ratchets feel different to different people. Some people prefer one brand over another, but I've had very good luck with the Gearwrench ones because they do feel really good in the hand and they're very reliable. Here's a similar quarter drive ratchet from Gearwrench, another 90-tooth one, and this one has the full polish handle design. Basically the same ratchet I just showed you, but you can see the difference between the comfort grip and the full polish. It's simply a matter of preference based on what you like the feel of. A lot of companies have both those options. I know some people prefer some handle styles over another. Some guys love one handle and hate another or whatever. That's entirely up to you and how it feels to you. They don't really affect the functionality of the tool. But one thing I have found with anybody's brand of comfort grip handles is the end of the handle can kind of break off sometimes. So just be careful. Don't put too much leverage right on the end when you're using a comfort handle. That certainly is not a problem with a full polish because there's nothing there to break off. So it's a little more reliable, a little more rugged and durable over time, but both function perfectly well. Ktool has a really cool pocket screwdriver. This has a reversible shaft. It has a Phillips bit on one end. Pull the shaft out and reverse it to use the slotted screwdriver end. Pocket clip on the handle so you can Keep it with you all day long. And it costs like $10. I love selling SK stuff, although I don't get a whole lot of their stuff in normally because it's kind of pricey. $10 is a good price for this, and people are happy to pay that. But when it comes to things like their sockets and all, and their wrenches and some other tools, they get, I think they price themselves right out of most of the markets that I service. So I can't really move their brand of tools as much as I like them. If you put an SK socket and ratchet set next to a Gearwrench socket and ratchet set or a Milwaukee socket and ratchet set, people are always going to choose those brands. They're never going to spend the money on the SK because it's so much more expensive. Sometimes in the order of 2 or 3 times what you'll spend on the Gearwrench or Milwaukee sets that I can't afford to stock it because I think it's just going to collect dust. I also have a valve core tool for air conditioning work. This is from FJC. FJC makes a lot of different AC tools and sets. They make gauges, manifolds, hoses, and the like. And this is a regular staple item that I always have because it's one of those things that, especially when AC season starts in the warmer spring and summer months, people are always buying those. This is the Forof Funnel. This is their general purpose standard size Forof Funnel. It's simply a PVC coated piece of aluminum that you can bend to your will, and you can use it to route the funnel around objects, over and under, so that when you drain a liquid, you're not going to get all over your parts to the parts on the car, and you can direct it directly into your drain pan. They have a few different sizes. They have a jumbo one that's really good for large vehicles. They have one that's specifically made for aviation. And I keep this one and what they call the tractor Forof Funnel, the larger one, on the truck all the time. If you have to siphon fluids, this shaker siphon hose is a great option because all you do is you take this copper end that has a glass ball in it, you stick this in the source that you're going to be siphoning, and then you just run the open end of the hose into your collection bucket, shake the ball end, starts to siphon, the liquid comes out, easy peasy. For the $19 or $20 that this costs, I know that's half the price of the same exact product that Matco sells on their trucks. Shop it around. If it seems like a great idea and you like the idea, maybe you want to hold off to see if another tool truck has the same thing, because you pay extra for identical products when they're branded with, say, one of the franchise tool trucks names on them, or sometimes it's the exact same thing under the exact same brand name, but there's an extra layer of distribution when you're dealing with a franchise tool company. So there's going to be an extra cost that gets passed down to you, unfortunately. The great thing about these is I buy these directly from a distributor. Keeps the cost as low as we can get them. And, you know, for the $20 you'll spend on that, it's a lifesaver, because anything you can do to save yourself some time and effort is worth it when your time really is money. So that's a great tool of convenience that will free you up to do some other things, and it makes the job of siphoning fluids that much easier. Super Combo Scissors from Vampire Tools. These guys are a heavy-duty pair of work shears. They have a few different features that I think sets these apart from anybody else. You can cut from the front, obviously, like a regular pair of shears. But look, you can also cut from the back if you want to. You can do heavy-duty cutting because the handles are large enough that you can, double up your hands if you need that extra leverage. It has a flat blade on the back for box cutting, micro serrations on the blade, and a wire cutter. It's got a lot of features in one little set of shears and a little protective cap for the blades. These guys sell all the time. I think they're about $50 or so. For a pair of heavy-duty work shears, that's money well spent. Even though it seems a little pricey, but it's one of these products where you get what you pay for. And when you pay the few extra bucks to get those, you're getting something that's well worth it because they're so rugged and so solid. If you need a stripper for your birthday party, for working on wires on a car, look for the one from SG Tool. This is the auto-adjusting pair of strippers where You set a depth gauge for your wire, feed the wire through the front, squeeze the handles, and it strips back the wire to exactly the distance that you specify on the gauge. Great all-around pair of wire strippers. You can buy the conventional kind where they have the cutouts in them and you work around the wire. This is a little bit easier. And especially if you're working under dash or something where you may not be able to get both hands in there with the other kind of strippers, these go in very nicely. Squeeze the handles and off you go. This is a dual foot tire gauge from Ktool. I put this one on the truck because it has a really cool feature that I like better than the ones from Amflow or from Milton. And that is you can recalibrate this yourself. It comes with a micro screwdriver for adjustment. And I don't know of any others offhand that have that feature. Plus, it's got this really cool black textured finish. I know it's a little easier to lose because it's black, but it really looks slick. Goes 10 to 150 PSI. Got the dual head on it for doing dually tires. Great product. I love this one. And I don't carry the Amflow or the Milton ones on the truck anymore because this one is so popular and it's reliable. There's no reason to sell the other brands, especially when you can recalibrate this one yourself. But I do like Amflow and Milton for other things. Milton, I carry a lot of their air fittings. For Amflow, I really like carrying this inflator. And this is the one that has the lever here and the brass, I don't know if I can do it because there's no air going through it, and the brass gauge that comes out when you hook up the dual head chuck to the tire. Very handy. It's heavy duty enough that'll last you a long time. You will eventually see wear points in the hose if you're not careful when you store it. Store it flat or keep a loose radius on the hose. You don't want to keep it bent up too tight because that's how things break over time, especially if you're constantly straightening and bending and straightening and bending, then you're going to wear it out. So if you can, lay it flat in your toolbox or cart drawer to get the longest wear out of it that you can get. These spider type oil filter wrenches from CTA are invaluable. They've got the 3 adjustable legs on it that will grab a filter from the back end, and they have a 1/2-inch bolster, and you can pop this out and there's a 3/8 hole that's left behind. So use it with a 1/2-inch breaker bar, use it with a wrench, or use it with a 3/8 breaker bar. Don't use it with a ratchet because that's not what ratchets are intended for. Use a breaker bar like it's supposed to, and you're not going to break your ratchets, and this guy will last you a good long time. It's fairly heavy duty, and I've seen lots of these put in service, never seen a problem with any of them. Very reliable. And it's adjustable, so you can go from 2 to 3 3/4 inches just using this one. It's got you covered for a lot of different sizes. And we were talking about some FJC AC tools earlier. This is from Mastercool. It's another company that deals a lot with AC hoses, gauges, manifolds, and stuff. This is the highside socket for an AC system. What's special about it is that it's an, wrong end. It's an 8-sided socket. It's not a regular 6-sided hex socket. That's tough to see, but you can see the 8 flats in there. Why? Why do they make the fitting like that? I don't know. You have to buy a specialty socket for it. I think it's weird, but there it is. If you're new to working on AC systems, you may look at that fitting and say, I don't know what that is. Well, there is a specialty socket for it. Some of the tool guys may not even know because it's such an obscure kind of thing, but your better tool guys will know exactly what you'll need if you tell them that you need the 8-sided AC high side socket. If they don't have one on the truck, they should. This is one that I carry all the time. This, along with that valve core tool, they go right next to each other, because a lot of times people will buy them both at the same time, especially if they have to tool up if they're just getting into AC work. This micro drive set from Titan, really handy for doing things like cleaning out jets and nozzles and things like your welder nozzle. If you do carburetor work, it's great for cleaning out carbs. Handy all-around set of micro drills. I think this is like $38 or $40 or something like that. From Titan, love that little set. Very handy, sells regularly. And if you use a razor scraper, and who doesn't, then you're going to need refills. This is a 100 pack of refills of straight razors. There's a million different brands of these. They're all kind of the same. I just get whatever's available and cheapest at the time. This one's from American Line. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if the American Line ones aren't available, I buy them from a different brand. They're all the same. Buy yourself the 100 package that lasts you a good long time. And from Gearwrench, we've got some replacement T25 Torx press bit sockets. These go on the shelf because, of course, people always break them because they're T25s. T10s, T15s, T25s, you know they're going to break. So you should always have a selection of them available if you're a tool retailer, just to swap them out in person when somebody brings you the broken one. I normally keep almost an entire set of these press fit sockets because I know that those are going to break on the regular. From Irwin, this is a very nice set of impact grade screwdriver bits. They have Torx and Phillips of different lengths in here, including socket adapters and an extension. Love this set. Very popular. They have a non-impact grade set. The price is about the same though, so I put the impact one on the truck because that's normally the one people will gravitate toward. This is going to be kind of hard to show you because everything's in the bag, but from a company called LTI, Lock Technologies Incorporated, these are the twist sockets that you use to extract damaged lug nuts. They come with 3 different flip sockets that have the spiral flutes in them, as well as a punch extractor to knock out the lug nut when it gets stuck in there. Lifetime warranty on these. They're not cheap by any stretch. And I'm kind of disappointed because I thought they came in a case, but they ship them in a bag. I don't like that. I thought these came in a plastic case. That bums me out. Such is what it is. So, it really does bum me out. I really thought this would come in a case. But lifetime warranty, and not every brand offers a lifetime warranty on theirs, which is why I went with this brand because of that. And when a customer asks me for a recommendation on something, if I have a choice in brands, if pricing is similar, I'll tell them, what the differences are. If the warranties are similar, I'll tell them. But sometimes the choice makes itself in a case where you might find like those protected lug nut sockets that have the plastic sleeves on them. Not everybody puts a warranty on that, right? But companies like Gearwrench do, and CTA does, but other companies don't. So when someone asks me for a recommendation for those, I'm just going to steer them right toward the ones with a warranty. And they're going to pay a little bit more for it, but it's worth it when you only have to buy it once. So that's what lends me to go with something like LTI for these twist sockets. Butane micro torches. You've seen the black-handled ones from Power Pro, but I find that these from Master are a little bit more reliable. I've had problems with the igniters on the Power Probe ones, and sometimes the tips go south. So I moved over to the Master one. They're $5 less than the Power Probes, and they seem to be more reliable. Never had an issue with these. They have a solder tip that comes with it. You just fill it from the base there. There's a little nipple underneath that label, and just stick your can of butane on there, and off you go, and you're recharged in no time. Love it. I have one of these myself. I use it for a lot of things. And because I'm not a professional technician, the things I use it for are different than the things you might use it for. I do use them for some air tool repairs. There are some designs that require some heat applied to a rotor housing to get this inner sleeve out. but I'll use it to start my smoker. I'll use it to loosen up the lid on a jelly jar or jar of pickles. You know, when they're really tight, just go around twice with open flame and poop, you pop that thing right off. So very good for applying heat to a number of things just around the house, let alone all the uses you'll find for it in the shop. These are the 1/2" drive, 1 5/16" deep impact sockets from Sonx. These are the sockets you need if you're working on truck or bus tires, because this is the socket for the lug nuts. You might be wondering, why is it a 1/2" drive on these? Wouldn't you use a 3/4 or 1 inch? Well, not if you don't own a 3/4 or 1 inch impact gun. This is the most popular one. And 1 5/16" is the same as 33mm. You saw in my previous tool haul video, I showed you that really long gray pneumatic 33mm with a 3/4 drive on it. That's for a technician who happens to have a gun that's suitable for those sockets, but this is the one that most guys go for. Now, the downside to the 1/2" drive on that kind of application is it is a truly heavy-duty application, because more often than not, truck and bus lug nuts are over-torqued. Someone slams these things on with a 1 inch air impact, and they're way over-spec'd. Normally, you want to torque a truck tire to, you tell me, 450, 475 foot-pounds. And if you slam them on with a 1 inch, you might be torquing to over 1,000 foot-pounds. So they're going to be difficult to get off. When they're that difficult to get off and you use a 1/2" drive socket with a 1/2" drive on an impact tool, you're going to be hammering away and hammering away until that breaks loose. Using it for such a prolonged period, just hammering like that, dramatically increases the heat that's applied to not only the socket, but the mechanism of your impact. And when you apply that much heat, you're going to change the temper of the metal. That's when these crack. That's when the anvils and the hammers on your impact break. Granted, it's covered under warranty when these crack. And, you know, usually the impacts are too when it's within the warranty period. The Sonx sockets have lifetime warranties, but the impact you're using probably only has a 1, maybe a 2-year warranty at the most if it's an Ingersoll. So just beware that you could be overusing the tool in an application it is not built to undertake. So just know there's probably a better way to be doing that. That's probably not going to stop you, because it doesn't stop anybody. You're going to do it anyway. But just understand that the risk of breaking your tool and or your socket is greatly increased when you use it that way. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know how big a fan I am of Coast lights, and we have here their 2075 lumen headlamp and a 410 lumen headlamp. Just choose how bright you want it to be, and of course it's going to dictate the price. This one costs less than this one. This one's a larger light head on it. This one's a bit smaller. This one has the same features as this in that they both have a focusing beam. Both are rechargeable, and they have dual power, which means you can plug alkaline batteries into these and keep working if you're between charge cycles on your rechargeable batteries. Lifetime warranty on both of these, all aluminum housing. And the best part about the warranty fulfillment is I swap them out on the truck, unlike a company like Streamlight, where I have to send the light into them and they will repair or replace it. But this is faster. They cost about half the price as comparable Streamlights, and they have the dual power and focusing feature that you won't find on any other brand because they hold the patents for it. So I love Coast for a lot of reasons. Easy company to work with. Nice folks over there. I recommend buying their products anytime you need a lighting product because they've got you covered as far as quality and price. This is a magnetic glove box holder from Lyle. Has 2 wide magnet strips to go on the side or the lid of your toolbox or cart. An open end there, and then the back end there that the box slides up against. You just take your box of gloves, slide them in here, and it's going to be a tight fit because it's a bit of a thick box, but I'd have to jam it in there. It's going to hold it securely, that's for sure, because the larger boxes of gloves like that one that have 100 are going to fit very snug in here. The smaller boxes that contain 50 or the lighter gloves that are not 8 mil thick, like the ones I just showed you, are going to have an easier time fitting in these. But don't let that stop you. Your big box of gloves will fit in here, but people do them all the time. And for, you know, the 40 bucks this costs, so handy to get your glove boxes out of the way, keep them dry, keep them out of the mess, and always have gloves at the ready with a glove holder like this. A customer was showing me his tool cart drawer a week or so ago, and he was showing me some organizational things that he was using for his pliers. And when I saw what he was using, it reminded me that years ago I used to sell, and haven't seen them in a while, the wire pliers rack. And I'm stoked that my distributor is now carrying these from Performance Tool. Such an easy concept. You just lay this in your toolbox or cart drawer. You need about 4 inches of space, but you just lay your pliers in on their side. So handles up, and it frees up a tremendous amount of space in your pliers drawer, because instead of having everything spread out horizontally, you're now stacking vertically. You can fit way more pliers in a drawer that way. You just need the deeper drawer. So when he showed this to me, I'm like, man, I need to buy these wire racks. And when I looked on my distributor's website, I'm stoked that he had these, because they are so handy. They're indispensable. Coated with PVC to protect your drawers and the tools that you put in them. And it's just such an easy concept. I'm kind of jealous I didn't think of it myself. From Lyle, this is a battery brush. You pull these two pieces apart. One end here has a male brush, the other has a female brush, so you can clean the terminals and the posts with this same tool. There is a version of this that has a female brush and a male reamer in it, so you can ream out the inside of your battery clamps if you had to. So this is one that a customer asked me for. Though it should be a regular item on the truck. This particular one is not a restock item. It's an order for somebody who wanted it specifically. He got tired of using his buddies, or rather his buddy got tired of him using his battery brush, so he's getting one for himself. It seemed like for years, only Mac tools had pocket pry bars. And they came out with them just as I was getting rid of my Mac franchise about 7 years ago. And I was bummed out because I really liked the product and people were asking for them. And it took a long time for anyone else to come up with pocket pry bars. Well, all of a sudden, Mayhew, Lang, and now Lyle also all have pocket pry bars. I carry the Mayhew and Lang ones all the time. You've seen them on other tool haul videos. These are the newest of the bunch. The cool thing about these is they've got a 2-piece set. One piece has a magnet on the back. The difference between these and the Lang and Mayhew ones are both of these have an angle tip, but one of the shanks on here is a little bit smaller than the other. So you have the smaller gauge with the magnet and the heavier gauge without the magnet. Both are angled, so I'm going to have these on the truck along with the Mayhew and Lang pocket pry bars. So all of a sudden, we've gone from having very limited choices to now having a choice of 3 brands of these things, depending on what you want for length. You want the magnet, you want the pocket clip. They're all different in some way, shape, or form, and they all cost about the same. These are on sale for like $14.99. The Lang ones are $20, and the Mayhew ones are like $23. Hard to go wrong, and they're such a handy little tool. You'll find yourself using these things for a ton of different applications. Titan has some of the more affordable, better quality welding helmets that I have seen, and I have access to at least a half a dozen brands, including Aesop, Jackson, Firepower, Miller. I got a bunch of different ones available to me, but the ones I put on the truck are the ones from Titan under their Shop Iron brand. This is their Flaming Skull motif, and this one is their Pinup Girl motif. Both have the same features. They both have a nice wide viewing area, solar powered with a battery backup, auto darkening, and I think the response time is about a 30,000th of a second, if I'm not mistaken. And for $175, they're a great quality item for protecting your face and your eyes when you weld. So when you do welding and when you work in general, always please use the proper safety equipment. Protect your hands, protect your face, protect your ears, protect your lungs by using a respirator where you have to. Wear long sleeves, wear a welding jacket. I see guys taking too many risks too often with this stuff. And yes, they're getting by, but man, all it takes is one time, and you can suffer irreparable harm if you don't use the proper equipment for the job. Please protect yourself. There's only one of you, and I love you, and I want you to be around for a good long time. I hope you enjoyed the tool haul. It shows all the stuff that we've got coming in that we're going to be putting back on the shelves, and we're going to have more restock videos coming very soon because we're going to have another restock order coming in the next week or two. We've also have some air tool repair videos I'm going to show you. We're kind of Frankensteining together a 1/2-inch Matco air impact made by Ingersoll Rand. We're going to have some gun cleaning videos. I got a few coming in that I've never done before, so it'll be fun to learn together as I do an AK-47, and I think someone else has an AR-15 they're giving me to do some cleaning, so that'll be fun to go over that with you. And of course, our regular tools in the haul videos, which are a huge staple for us. So thank you so much for watching. Please click down here now so you don't miss any of it. Thank you so much. And remember, use a tool. Don't be one.